Welcome to another episode of Maunalua Past, Present, and Future. My name is Kendrick Chang, and I'm with Livable Hawaii Kai Hui. And joining us today is another community partner out in the Maunalua community, Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou. And we got two special guests here, Waipa Parker and Angela Correa-Pei, who has a special presentation for this month's episode.
Aloha, Kendrick.
Aloha, Kendrick. Thank you for having us here today to give our presentation on our project acquisition. With that, I'll get started. I'm going to share a screen regarding our PowerPoint presentation. Okay, so who is Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou? So Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou is we noticed that there were community members who understood that Kuliʻouʻou's needs and issues were not represented. We recognized that we needed an organization to represent and address the issues of Kuliʻouʻou. And so in 2016, what had happened was community members rallied to start an initiative to start an unsafe cluster project. This initiative was called Protect Kuliʻouʻou. This is the first time community members got together to represent the needs and issues of Kuliʻouʻou. Then in 2018, a grassroots initiative was created to lobby for Kuliʻouʻou's interests with the city. And that initiative was called Aloha Aino Kuliʻouʻou. And after this, it was recognized that formal organization was needed to work with government agencies, outside interests and organizations. And that's when Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou was started. So Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou means natives of Kuliʻouʻou. And it's a relatively new domestic nonprofit corporation in the state of Hawaii that was established on November 24, 2020. And we received our IRS 501c3 status on October 7, 2021. Currently, our organization exists of 3 members, me, Waipa Parker, as president, Angela Correa-Pei, who's also here as vice president, and not president, is Stramer Reeves. So Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou's mission is community awareness and education on the preservation of the natural resources and open spaces and stewardship for the protection of watersheds, valley walls, forest lands, natural and scenic resources, as well as cultural and historic areas in Kuliʻouʻou. And basically, we intend to protect and preserve those undeveloped lands outside of the urban boundary, lands near steep sloped urban hillsides, and also to protect and preserve our diminishing natural and cultural resources. So as I mentioned, the 3 of us from Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou are with the Reeves Ohana. And so with that, I'm going to pass it over to Angela to discuss the Reeves Ohana. Go ahead, Ange.
Yeah, aloha everyone. So our ohana, the Reeves Kealoha Ohana, we have been in Kuliʻouʻou since 1912. I am 5th generation Reeves and Waipa is 4th. My great-great-grandparents, Waipa's great-grandparents, Rose Miguel Kealoha and Charles Armistead Reeves, came to Kuliʻouʻou in 1912 via the Homestead Act. Not Hawaiian homestead, but homestead where people could go out and secure land for their family. So my great-great-grandparents, they secured 9 acres in Kuliʻouʻou and they had 9 children. So each of their children were left 1 acre each. And this is where our ohana continues to reside today in the middle part of Kuliʻouʻou, I should say, right in the middle of the Mauka Timakai lands. And many of us continue to reside here today. There are many who have left, but they always come back. And they especially come back for our annual Kuliʻouʻou Olympics that started in 1992, I believe. Yes, because we will be celebrating our 30th annual this year. This is a picture of our ohana from probably the early 2000s, around there. At Kuliʻouʻou Park, we celebrate every year with games and, fellowship, just mahaloing our kupuna and our akua for giving us this aina to raise our ohana. And it's always been our kuleana to take care of this aina, and formulating Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou is just another step in that kuleana.
Okay, very
So
good, Ange. Thank you. So Ange is going to talk a little bit more about the land that we wanted, that our current project acquisition of the land in Kuliʻouʻou.
Yeah, so Kuliʻouʻou is located in East Honolulu, in Maunalua. We are in between Neo Valley and Kauai High and Hahaioni valleys. We're a small valley, and we don't have any shopping centers or anything like that, as our adjacent valleys do. And we're very fortunate that the two ridges above us or next to us that protect us are not developed. And the ridge that we're talking about today is Kalapa'ōmaua. This is the ridge between Kuliʻouʻou and Neo Valley. Kalapa'ōmaua is very special to us. All of Kuliʻouʻou, including Kalapa'ōmaua, were crown lands and visited often by our ali'i, by the whole Kamehameha line. And the ridge is really special because we believe the historic sites that we have there, and we'll talk about that a little bit later. But our project is in association with Livable Hawaii Kai Hui, and we're very grateful for that partnership with Livable Hawaii Kai Hui, who is securing the top portion of Kalapa'ōmaua, these 2 TMKs here, equaling over 330 acres. And then Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou will be securing the 4 acres that come down into Kuliʻouʻou Valley. And what's important about those 4 acres is that currently Kalapa'ōmaua is primarily conservation, but these 4 acres in Kuliʻouʻou are zoned residential 7.5. So it has been subject to proposed developments over the last 10 years. This is the street view of the 4 acres above Ka'eleloi Place that has been the subject of potential development, and why Kupaʻāina o Kuliʻouʻou formulated so that we could acquire this land to protect the natural and cultural resources around it and prevent development for the primary purpose of protecting the quality of life here in Kuliʻouʻou Valley. We're a valley that's full, very capacitated already. We have high capacity of homes, traffic, and we really wanted to just preserve as much peace and quality of life in Kuliʻouʻou Valley, and to preserve our cultural and natural resources as much as possible.
Okay, thanks, Ange. I'll continue here. So as was mentioned, this particular 3.497 acre parcel was a subject of development in the past. And in 2016, the landowner wanted to build a 19-home cluster project that looks like this picture right here. And as you can see, it's a thinly steep sloped parcel on about approximately 60 degrees, and would require extensive digging into the mountain. Now, the community realized that it didn't fit with our East Honolulu Sustainable Community Plan, and also realized that there was unstable soils in this area. And along with the steep slope, it was a dangerous build. In fact, on the street below, prior in 1988, on Papahehi, there was extensive land movement from the great floods there, and a large amount of homes were condemned. So the community understood that this was a dangerous project, and therefore went and opposed it. Now, also part of the opposition is that it didn't align with the 1999 EHSCP. So in the 1999 EHSCP, it specifically states that you're not supposed to build on valley walls or steep slopes or on unstable soils, and particularly any part that's outside of the urban boundary. So this green section of land here was outside of the urban boundary, which is the boundary where you can build in. And this particular piece of land was steep sloped and unstable soil, as mentioned before. What had happened was in the 2021 revision, the Planning Commission wanted to change that to put it inside the boundary. And so this is approximately when Kupaʻāina Kuliʻouʻou was formed, that we lobbied against this, and we actually were able to keep this section outside of the community growth boundary because it is steep sloped and unstable soils. And so what I want to get into now is, after we are able to do that, we realized that there was also, more importantly, cultural history and natural history that is significantly associated with this, not only this parcel, but in Kuliʻouʻou in general. And in particular, the Kuliʻouʻou Kawekiu shelter and the Makani Olu shelter are two ancient Hawaiian shelters in Kuliʻouʻou. And in particular, the Makani Olu shelter is possibly where the first inhabitant on the island of Oahu was possibly inhabited this cave from carbon dating of the artifacts inside of the cave. Also, cultural history is that in Kuliʻouʻou there was two heiau, Kauʻili Ula heiau and Ahukini heiau, and these heiau were about 50 feet and square in size, and since has been destroyed. But archaeologists have documented that of their existence in Kuliʻouʻou. Other cultural history, and more importantly, is that there is an existing, possibly last known moku boundary on the top of Kalapa'omaua. And here are some pictures of it. And this is a rock wall that ancient Hawaiian rock wall that extends from the bottom of Paiko Ridge and goes all the way up to the Ko'olaus. And it's in existence there today. Also very important is the possible existence of Elelupe Pool, which is in the vicinity of this 3.497 acre parcel. There's documentation in land court applications where Kama'aina have stated that Elelupe Pool was the kapu drinking water source of King Kamehameha the Great, all the way to King Kamehameha V. And when he would visit, East Honolulu, he would basically come and send his servants here to get water. And anyone who broke this kapu, the penalty was death. And last but not least,
can I just comment on that? You know, one of the benefits about this project, Kendrick, is that, you know, growing up in Kuliʻouʻou, like we played in these places, you know, with Elelupe Pool is just right above my house, and we'd go up there all the time. But we really didn't know the cultural significance, you know, and like so many other places throughout our Paʻāina, our culture was had disappeared, right? Because, you know, the history of Hawaii and our culture was not honored, and it was actually extinguished in many ways. And so growing up, we had heard things from our kupuna, but we really didn't learn enough. And this project has given all of us an opportunity to really learn more and see what there is and realize how much more we have to learn. And this is what we want to learn and preserve for our future generations. So it's just been an awesome experience that, you know, this is happening in communities throughout our whole Paʻāina, is recapturing the essence of our culture and learning about all of our wahipana and how we take care of them and how we perpetuate their history. And so mahalo, Waipa.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ange. That brings back memories of when we used to play around as kids in this area. If you look at this map here where the pool is located, and it's a good point that you bring up, you know, that we used to play on this, you know, in this valley. And it also brings up the next point, which is, you know, there's a lot of caves at Eevee in the valley. And you know, there's 5 different sites that are documented by DLNR with skeletal remains in it. And if you look at the bottom right picture here, this cave is right behind the properties on Ka'eleloi Place that was found. And of course, it was left untouched and it needs to be investigated. But this is just an example of simple survey of walking and seeing it. And It's known that Kuliʻouʻou has many caves in it. So that being said, want to go over next I'm going to hand it off to Anne so she can discuss significant natural resources that are associated with our project here.
Yeah, so some of the natural resources that we know exist in Kuliʻouʻou Valley, we have the ʻelepaio, the apapane, and other native birds. We have the lo'ulu palm that can be found in Kuliʻouʻou Valley. It's very rare, endemic to Hawaii. And also up in the top of Kuliʻouʻou Valley, the top of the valley, the highest point is Pu'uokona. And we know that up there is a very rare lehua flower that does not grow everywhere. So there's many things that we're still continuing to learn about our valley and what's here and what we keep here. But we also know, right, that these watersheds, that the waters that fall on top of our valley ridges go to our makai, right? They go to Kuliʻouʻou. And my tutu, Naomi, Sister Correa Reeves, has shared with us, with all of her grandkids, she has 50 grandkids. Majority of us have been born and raised in Kuliʻouʻou, along with all of our cousins, that she used to go to Kuliʻouʻou Beach Park and pick limu all the time. Limu ele, limu kala, and all different kinds of limu. And, those limus have definitely disappeared from Maunalua, as well as many other places throughout our Kupaʻāina. But in protecting our watersheds, we want to bring back all of our cultural resources from Mauka to Makai. So this project is not just about protecting what we have here up Mauka, but it's about trying to bring back the resources that we had below Makai.
And can I add something on that too as well? So the important thing is although our property is situated down below lower, it acts as a buffer zone to the upper portions of Kalapa'ōmaua, so the white sections and the yellow sections where these habitats and fragile ecosystems may exist, as Angie pointed out. So getting into that is the cultural resources. I'm sorry, Angie, that she can go ahead and continue about regarding the how the development potential and cultural resources. Sorry.
Yeah, so all of those cultural resources that you saw, the apapane, the ʻelepaio, those are things that we want to preserve for future generations. And, development would have put those in further jeopardy. We all know that all of our cultural and natural resources throughout Hawaii and, East Honolulu, not in particular, but East Honolulu has been subject to much development since the 1960s, and we have lost tons of natural and cultural resources, including the many fish ponds that we had in this area. We had the large, Puapaʻa was the largest fish pond in Polynesia. So every little piece of Aina that we can protect going forward is just one small piece of keeping what we used to have as far as our natural and cultural resources and our historical knowledge, our cultural knowledge for our future generations. So in order for us to purchase this 4 acres, we applied to the Clean Water Natural Lands Fund with the City and County of Honolulu. And we met the 5 of the 6 criteria for the granting of these funds. And we're very grateful that the Clean Water Natural Lands Commission recommended our project to the City Council, and that the City Council approved the resolution to grant us funding to purchase these nearly 4 acres in the back of Kuliʻouʻou to ensure the protection of all of Kaiko Ridge in conjunction with Livable Hawaii Kai Hui. The city did grant us funding of 1.7 million. We still have work to do to secure those funds. We have additional studies that we need to provide to the city and everything, but the big hurdle that they approved our project and found value, natural and cultural resource value in our project was really a great accomplishment, and we're very grateful to all of our partners for helping us with that. The 1.7 million granted from the city is to purchase the land. We do have to raise funds for other expenses to include our escrow fees and appraisal fees, as you see here on this slide, insurance costs, property taxes. So we have been actively fundraising to raise $200,000 to help us with all of those costs. Ultimately, we mentioned earlier that the 4 acres in Kuliʻouʻou are zoned residential. Once we complete the acquisition of this land, we are going to do the paperwork and the process to downzone it from residential to conservation. And Waipa, what specifically is the?
So basically, when we have acquired the property, we will start the process to downzone the property, the 4 acres, from R-7.5 residential to P-2 preservation. And that way we can preserve that land along with the entirety of Kalapuamaua in perpetuity. And this is the last remaining piece of the puzzle that we have to downzone. And so I'll take it from here, Ange.
Thank you.
Yeah. So yeah, we have a lot of work to do still yet. We're still in the process of hammering it away. But that pretty much ends our presentation for today, and kind of explains who we are, what we're trying to do, and we're basically just aloha aina of our valley. So in conclusion, I just want to say that it's important to understand that ultimately the acquisition and downzoning of this last remaining parcel maintains the quality of life that the Kuliʻouʻou community cherishes, and that acquiring, this aina also protects and preserves Kuliʻouʻou's cultural, historic, and natural resources in perpetuity. And so, we wouldn't have been able to do any of this without help. And so we want to extend, our deepest thanks to everyone who's involved in this process, including Livable Hawaii Kai Hui, Maunalua Fish Pond Heritage Center, the City and County of Honolulu, Clean Water Natural Lands, and many, many more on a very, very long list. So without their help, we wouldn't be where we are today. And on that note,
I'm sorry, Waipa.
On
that mahalo list, would definitely be our city and government and state officials,
Yes.
Councilman Waters, Representative Hashem, and Senator Chang. They've all been champions for this project for many years. And to all of the other community members who have been trying to preserve Paiko Ridge for over 10 years now. Livable Hawaii Kai Hui has been working on this project for over 10 years, and we are just fortunate to now be a part of it in partnership for our entire East Honolulu community and for the betterment of all of Maunalua Bay.
Thanks, Ange, for adding that. And then lastly, we want to thank you, Kendrick, for giving us the time to come on here onto your program to interview and to actually present our project acquisition, and to get our word out about who we are and what we're trying to do. Thank you.
And I just add that you can visit us at www.kuliʻouʻou.org, KULIOUOU.org. We have lots of information there about us, about this entire project, how you can support us, and just love to hear people's mana'o on projects that they're doing in their communities as well.
Mahalo both you, Waipa, and Angela, for sharing your story and all the work you've been doing, and best wishes on this potential, completion of this project and acquisition. And we just wanted to, also extend a mahalo to Ōlelo Studios for this platform to share our community mana'o as part of Maunalua Past, Present, and Future, and as the host organization of Livable Hawaii Kai Hui. Mahalo to everyone for watching this latest episode, and best wishes. Thank you. Aloha.
Mahalo nui. Aloha aina.
Thanks, Kendrick. Mahalo.